Hello, and welcome to my predictions video for New Japan Pro Wrestling's Battle in the Valley 2023 event, which takes place tonight in, I assume, California, as it's talking about the Valley. Let me have a look. Yep, San Jose. Oh, the San Jose Civic in San Jose, California. I've been to a wrestling show there. That's fun. It was the surrounding shows around WrestleMania 31 were, I believe, in the Civic. I'm not sure, actually. But they were in San Jose, so I've been to that city for a wrestling show. Anyway, that's not why you're here. You are here to hear what I think is going to happen. Now, please do bear in mind, this is not my strongest company in terms of being able to predict. Partially because I don't keep up as well as I should with New Japan. Partially because I don't know what's going on with some of the strong stuff. I don't watch New Japan Strong, so there will be some educated guesses and probably some uneducated guesses in here. But I'm gonna have some fun, and also I just find the Japanese style of booking the least predictable. In a lot of ways, some of it can be really predictable. But in a lot of ways, some stuff can be quite hard to predict because they have a plan that isn't always necessarily obvious, and it ends up making sense, but in the early days, it's like, oh, did not see that result coming. Anyway, waffle. On the pre-show, there's two matches. The first one is Alex Coughlin, versus J.R. Kratos, who is a member of Team Filthy. I know neither of these guys. I like J.R. Kratos' name, so I'm going to go with him. Because I know nothing about this, so I'm not even going to try and pretend I've got a reason or make one up. I'm just going to go with the one whose name I like. Next on the pre-show, the other pre-show match, David Finlay versus Bobby Fish. Now, I can reason this one out a little bit because I know a little bit more about both of these guys. Bobby Fish is definitely on the downswing of his career at this point, at this stage in his life. You know, where he's mostly being used to put people over and has been for a few years now, to be honest, back to his NXT days even, like once he'd had his initial tag team run with Kyle O'Reilly. And David Finlay always seems to be reasonably highly thought of by New Japan. He's booked reasonably well. So I feel like this is just a nice, clean David Finlay win on this match. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong, but that's what I'm thinking. Again, I don't know anything about like the stories going into it or anything like that, which could affect my predicting. But just on the surface level, I feel like David Finlay beats Bobby Fish here. Okay, next we have to open up the main show, we have an 8-man tag team match, and it's Mascara Dorada, who I don't know, but apparently works for AEW and New Japan. I don't know this. Oh, it's the former Grand Metalik. Okay. Josh Alexander, who is the current Impact World Champion, and also, I'm just reading here on Wikipedia, the longest reigning Impact World Champion. Whatever. Okay, wow. Adrian Quest, don't know who that is, and Rocky Romero. So I'm doing quite well with this team. I actually know who 3 of the 4 are. Versus Kushida Volador, son of Super Parker, so not La Parker. Volador Jr., sorry. Kevin Knight and the DKC. I don't know who a lot are on that other team except obviously Kushida. So I'm going to pick Josh Alexander's team. He's the Impact World Champion. I feel like his appearance is done in good faith where he definitely won't be getting pinned, put it that way. Rocky Romero's had a little bit of a resurgence, right? Didn't he recently win a title in some group, some company somewhere? We've got an ex-Grand Metalik, an ex-WWE wrestler. And on the other side, we've just got Kushida and honestly, a bunch of guys I don't know. 2 of them don't even have Wikipedia pages. So I'm just going to go with the team I know more about. So Team Josh Alexander to pick up the win here. Probably not beating Kushida. I'd love to see Kushida and Josh Alexander one-on-one, though. How fun would that be? Up next, we've got a singles match for the Strong Openweight Championship. Now, I know very little about the strong side of New Japan, but I do know that the current champion, Fred Rosser, is formerly known as Darren Young. I know who that is, and I very much know who Kenta is. And I'm a big fan of Kenta, in fact. His run just leading into just before the pandemic hit, where he was challenging... Was it Naito? when he was challenging for the world title, it was Naito, right? Naito had just won the titles, and then Kenta ruined the celebration. Like, he was just such a good heel. And still is, in my opinion, but maybe lost a bit of the fizz now. But, yeah, anyway, my personal thoughts aside, this is a singles match for the Strong Openweight Championship. I really don't know how much Kenta is involved in New Japan Strong, which is why I think maybe Fred Rosser might defend successfully here, because I think Kenta's more committed to the Japanese side of New Japan. I could be completely wrong. I would love to see to watch the show and witness Kenta win a championship. That would be great fun. That's always a good time. I'm a big fan. But I'm gonna say Fred Rosser just because. Is it Rosser or is it like Rosser or something? Like, is it fancy Rosser? I don't know, but I'm gonna say Fred Rosser. Yeah, but I'm gonna pick him. I'm gonna pick the former Darren Young to retain successfully here. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. Next, we have the Motor City Machine Guns defending. That's Alex Shelley and Chris Sabin, for those who don't know. But they're a pretty damn famous indie / not necessarily always indie, but outside of WWE tag team. They're the current Strong Openweight Tag Team Champions, defending against the West Coast Wrecking Crew, which is Jorrel Nelson and Royce Isaacs. Now, I don't know those guys. And I would probably side with the Machine Guns anyway, because I'm sure I read somewhere this is like their third defense, so it's still a relatively new tag team champion reign. So yeah, I'm going to pick the Machine Guns to retain here. Also, doesn't help that I don't know the other team, and they don't even have Wikipedia pages, so how good can they really be? So yeah, I'm going to pick the Machine Guns to retain here. Next, we have Jay White versus Eddie Kingston in a loser leaves New Japan Pro Wrestling match. Now, Jay White has already lost a loser leaves Japan match, which is really fueling speculation that he's WWE bound. I don't know why there's not as much speculation he could be AEW bound, to be honest. But the additional stipulation is if Kingston loses, he needs White's permission to continue to compete in New Japan. So basically, if Jay White wins, he's essentially committed to New Japan Strong for the foreseeable. And if and there's going to be some sort of story where Kingston tries to earn his way back in somehow, maybe via AEW. Jay White making appearances there or something, and tries to get himself back into being able to compete in New Japan. But I feel like honestly, the writing's on the wall a little bit, and Occam's Razor says Jay White's just leaving New Japan. And Kingston's winning this match. So I'm going to go with that, but I would be very intrigued by the alternative storyline if it sort of bled over into AEW, where Eddie Kingston had to try and convince, either through doing some humiliating things and being on his side, or through beating the hell out of him, which sounds more Eddie-ish, doesn't it? Had to convince Jay White to let him compete in New Japan again. So, yeah, that would be an intriguing story, but I feel like this is just... The fact that Jay White already lost a loser leaves Japan match does make me think Eddie's winning this, and Jay White's possibly going to show up in WWE, if not AEW. So yeah, Eddie Kingston to win that one. Next, we have Tom Lawler versus Homicide in a filthy rules fight, which I believe just means there's no ropes. There's no ring ropes, right? It's just like... They're just going to take the ropes off, and it's just like a flat surface that you can fall off, basically, the ring becomes. This is Tom Lawler's sort of signature match type. Homicide has been around for a long time. And again, another person that I sort of consider to be on the downswing of his career. Like, he was in Ring of Honor in, like, the opening days, which is, like, 20 years ago now. Like, you don't stay at the top for 20 years without some decline down the card a little bit. So I'm gonna say Lawler wins this. It's his match, and Homicide is probably in put people over mode. I don't know how old Lawler is, but I feel like he's younger than Homicide. 1983. What does that make him? Why can't... I'm looking for the answer instead of just doing the maths. 39, so he's not super young, actually. How old's Homicide? Why did I say Homicide the way I did? Right, Homicide's 45, though. I knew he wasn't, like, a proper spring chicken anymore. Oh, this is a bit of a dilemma, actually. Now that I know Tom Lawler's pushing 40, but New Japan seem to like the filthy Tom Lawler stuff. And like I say, Homicide's on the downswing. I'm going to stick with my guns and say Tom Lawler wins in his match type. Why not? Next, we have Zack Sabre Jr. defending the newly minted New Japan World Television Championship that he's defended like once, maybe, against Clark Connors, who is doing well for himself, honestly, from what I've seen. You know, being relatively new to New Japan and just being a wrestler in general. But I don't think he's going to take the title from ZSJ. I think he's got a little bit of a run in him before that happens. You know, he's had one successful defense so far. So yeah, I'm gonna pick Zack to retain here. They could do the Clark Connors surprise thing, but I think he's a little way off beat. Like New Japan like to build things up slowly, including stars. So I'm gonna say Zack Sabre Jr. to retain, especially with him being such a new champion. He only won that title at Wrestle Kingdom, so which is, you know, a month and a little bit ago, 6 weeks ago. So yeah. Up next, Kairi defends the IWGP Women's Championship against Mercedes Moné. You may know her better as Sasha Banks. Kairi obviously used to be in WWE as Kairi Sane. This is a really interesting one because, again, Kairi is quite a new champion. The championship has only just been formed. Kairi has just won the title, like not that long ago. I'm not sure exactly when, but I think it was before Wrestle Kingdom. I think, was she defending it on Wrestle Kingdom? I watched Wrestle Kingdom. I can't even remember. I'm pretty sure she was defending it, not crowning an inaugural champion. But still, it's not been that long. However, they've brought in Sasha Banks, Mercedes Moné to this huge fanfare. She didn't get a massive pop, admittedly, at Wrestle Kingdom, but you know, it's a very interesting one, this, because is she just going to waltz in and win a title? Because not many people do that, but Mercedes Moné isn't many people. You know, like, she is a pretty special talent. So, but so's Kairi. Kairi is phenomenal, like, really good. I think this is the hardest match on the show to predict. Other than the first match on the pre-show where I know nothing about either of them. But yeah, I think this is, like, my biggest dilemma on the show. And I've picked all successful title defenses so far, so I'm really tempted to put this down as a title change. Don't know. Now I've said that, though, the feeling is washing over me of you're wrong. So I'm going to go with my gut and go with Kairi, actually, and have all the titles so far stay with their respective holders. But yeah, you see, I feel like I'm wrong when I pick Kairi as well. Like, that fear of getting it wrong washes over me with both of them. Oh, this is difficult. I'm going to stick with my guns and go with Kairi. I could be here all day going back and forth over this. So, yeah, Kairi, final answer to retain, but I don't feel good about it. I would be equally unsurprised to see Mercedes Moné pick up this title. And finally, the main event. Okada defends the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship against Tanahashi. Okada wins, lol. I find this one really easy to predict. And I mean, they could give Tanahashi one last run, but at this point, like, I don't think they do. I don't see a real benefit to that. I think Okada just retains. I don't love the way Okada is just constantly booked to be world champion and Okada wins, lol. You know, WWE gets grief for booking people like that, but New Japan just book Okada like that for the fun of it. And yeah, he's a really good wrestler, don't get me wrong, but like, the booking is a bit boring and monotonous to me. But I feel like this is a match where I actually think it's the right decision for Okada to win. I don't see any benefit to giving Tanahashi a title run here, unless they've got some plan in mind for it. Who knows? Who knows? We will find out. But yeah, just to quickly recap my predictions, so you can let me know in the comments what you agree with and disagree with. I've got JR Kratos beating Alex Coughlin. I've got David Finlay beating Bobby Fish. I've got Josh Alexander's team winning that 8-man tag team match to open the main show. I've got Fred Rosser beating Kenta to retain. That could be a title change, but I'm going to stick with my guns. I've got the Machine Guns successfully defending the Strong Openweight Tag Team Championships. I've got Eddie Kingston beating Jay White. Got Tom Lawler beating Homicide. Zack Sabre Jr. retaining the TV title against Clark Connors. Kyrie to retain against Mercedes Moné. And Okada defending successfully against Tanahashi. Yeah, so let me know in the comments what you think is going to happen, what you agree with and disagree with, and why. Don't forget to leave a like if you enjoyed this video. And subscribe for more wrestling content. I do all sorts. I do predictions, reviews, watch-alongs, wrestling gaming. I do all sorts. So yeah, give it a like. Give it a subscribe even. But yeah, also give this video a like. Anyway, all I have left to say is thank you very much for watching. As always, I've been EBEZA. You've been amazing. And I'll see you next time.